Hi class, today we're talking about interpreting data through graphing. And those are some pretty big words for you guys. You're second graders, and we're learning new vocabulary as well as a math concept today. The word data is information that needs to be understood. Think of it this way. If you are a hockey player and you score 5 goals in one game, that's easy to keep track of. But if you wanted to keep track of how many goals you scored in 20 games, you would need some way to organize that data. The data would be the number of goals, and the way you organize it would be in a graph. We could make a graph a picture representation of the data. That way you'll be able to see if you're getting better or how many goals you get every single game. There's lots of different types of graphs. There's a line graph, which shows how things change over time. There's a pie graph. It looks like a pie with pizza slices. That shows how much of a whole each part represents. A bar graph is the kind of graph we're going to make today. There are specific categories at the bottom, and then there's data up the sides counting and giving the number. We're going to make a graph today, and you're going to take out your paper and you're going to do it with me step by step. What are we graphing? We're graphing Skittles. What color the Skittles are and how many of each color you have. If you make your graph right, you'll get to eat them at the end. So go ahead and take out your math paper, and we're going to start by drawing the axes. The axis. Those are the two lines that form the edge of the graph. So make yourself two lines, one straight up and down, one straight across, please. The next step is to label what we are keeping track of. In our case, we're going to label what color Skittle we have, so this is the title of this axis, and we're also going to label what number we have. So go ahead and write those words. The next step is to give your graph a title. The title that I gave this graph is Skittles by Color. The title of a graph goes at the top of the graph, just like it would for a book or a picture. Now we have to put our labels in for what we're measuring. I gave initials for the colors. What color Skittles are there? Red, yellow, green, orange, and purple. That's how you label your bottom axis. And we label the top axis just by ones, as if we're counting from the number 1. Go in equal space and put the number 2, and go up to about 6 or 8. That should be good enough for our little bag of Skittles. The next step, open your Skittles and let's see how many colors we have of each kind. In my pile, I have 3 reds. I would draw, this is the bar. I'm drawing it red, and I draw it as high as the number 3. Go ahead and dump your Skittles, sort them into colors, and then let's make our bar graph. My bar graph looked like this at the end. I had 3 reds, and I know that because it only went as tall as the number 3. How many yellows did I have? 5. There's a big blank here. What do you think that blank means? It means I did not have any green Skittles in my pack. I had 2 orange, and I had a whole bunch of purple. So by looking at a bar graph, boys and girls, you're able to know very quickly, without counting again, which category had the most or the least. The last step of making the bar graph is answering some questions about the data. Remember, data is how we understand. So which color Skittle did you have the most of? On my graph, I had the most of purple. How many did I have? I have to go straight across to the top of the bar to figure that out. And I had 6 purple Skittles. Which color Skittle did you have the least of? I had the least of green. We already talked about it. I didn't have any green. For homework tonight, you're going to count how many shoes everybody in your family has, how many pairs of shoes. So before you go home tonight, I want to see another bar graph set up on your math paper. Just, of course, the axis, the titles, the label, and the scale. Because you don't know when you're at school how many shoes your mom and dad have. You'll have to count them for homework when you go home. But when you come back tomorrow, I want to see your graph with how many pairs of shoes everyone in your family has. Sound fun? Okay, eat your Skittles.